Hello, my friends. How are you, Care Bears? I am so pleased to be connecting with all of you today. Thank you for being here. I noticed that in my last video, there was a bit of a weird clicking sound. Hopefully, that didn't ruin the experience for you. And hopefully, it'll be crisp, clear today. So I'm really happy to be connecting with all of you. I've reached a point in my life where I'm not really thinking anymore. When the universe says go, I just go. So I did that thumbnail in less than like 3 minutes and I was like, let's go. And I'm just loving being of service to everyone. I have so much love in my heart, and I finally have the time in my life to not be about Phil. Of course, I'm about me, but to finally be doing exactly what I want to be doing. So thank you guys for your support. Thank you for supporting my work through your contributions that you made to the website. I really appreciate you guys so much. I was going to say I appreciate you more than you know, but it actually really bothers me when people say that. It actually bothers me when people say, you have no idea how much I appreciate you, or I appreciate you more than you know, because then it kind of like undermines the person. It's like, no, I know. Yeah, it's always kind of been a thing for me when people say that. Anyways, so I'm gonna give it maybe 1 or 2 more minutes. Does anyone feel what I just said? Like when people say to you, "You have no idea how much I appreciate you." It's like, no, I have an idea. I do. Yep, I do. uh, yeah, maybe I'm just weird, but that's just how I've been my whole life. So I'm excited to be with you guys. And I sincerely don't really know what we're going to talk about. I just know that there's one primary message that I want to deliver today. And I just want to speak from my heart because I want you guys to know that you are not going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. You are not losing your shit. It's just that you are starting to vibrate at a much higher rate. So your frequency is oscillating at a much higher speed, and it's unprecedented. You've never gone through this before. So your body is actually having to adapt or acclimate to this higher frequency. But it's very overwhelming to the body. It is very overwhelming to your mind. It can be very overwhelming on all fronts. It's literally like having a computer go on overdrive. And in your mind, you feel like you're losing it or you're spinning out of control. But I want you to know that all is well. You need to know that, okay? Sometimes people ask me, Phil, do you, by the way, thank you for those donations. I see them. Thank you, Glow. Thank you, Ashley and Maria. Thank you. Sometimes people ask me, do you struggle, Phil? Really? I, in order to teach this stuff, I have to go through everything. So do I struggle? Duh. Of course I do. My life has been like a circus or a chain of events, one after the next, and I never caught a Kit Kat break. Remember the Kit Kats? Go on your Kit Kat break. I rarely catch a break. But I think what starts to shift is that you accept that it's never going to end because you understand at a deeper level, at a core level, that God is always going to uplevel you. Source, the universe is always going to uplevel you. Because if it sees that you're treating your power, which isn't your power, the ego's going to want to take credit of it or credit for it. If the universe sees that you're treating this power responsibly, it's going to assign you with more and more and more responsibilities. That's really how it works. So you don't really get a break. You might get like a 2 week break or a 1 week break where you're floating on a cloud and you're feeling completely euphoric or completely blissful, but then things are going to even out. And then you're going to say, oh, but I kind of missed that. I want to recreate that or I want to regenerate that bliss. but that would be the ego trying to regenerate the bliss. The ego is addicted to pleasure. It is addicted to enjoyable feelings, which there's nothing wrong with feeling blissful and euphoric, but when it runs its course, then it runs its course, and we can't hold on to it. We have to keep up leveling ourselves by continually surrendering what we're trying to recreate. We do that with love too. We do that with love too. We fall in love with someone madly, and then we look for a partner that looks like them or that has a similar lifestyle as them. And we're really just playing ourselves. We are completely fooling ourselves because that person left your life for a greater reason. And the ego's going to want to recreate or replicate that experience. And that's one of the biggest disservices that we can do to ourselves. One of the biggest disservices is to try to replicate or try to regenerate an energy that's now expired. That energy expired because it was time for you to upgrade yourself. That energy expired because it was time for you to move into higher ground. And higher ground usually has to do with releasing more and more and more attachments. You cannot move into higher ground if you're holding on to an idea of what you think you want. I'll repeat that. You cannot move into higher ground, into a higher vibration within your physical structure, because remember, we are here evolving the body. We are going through a process of evolving the body. You cannot move into that higher ground if you're still holding on to an idea of what you think you want. You have to completely release your control all day. This is an all day affair because you can be at peace, but then you might come into contact with someone on the street, or you might get a phone call from a family member who isn't at peace. And because you're sensitive and empathic, you might feel some of that, but you have to surrender that too. So surrendering is an all day affair. It's a releasing into the the, the miraculous. It's allowing everything to happen through you without being defined by anything, without being defined by anything. And that's exactly what I want to touch on today. So, the rest of February, and I was going to put rest in the hyphen because it's you have to rest the rest of February. The rest, the rest of February. You got it? So we have to rest in February. But the energy isn't very conducive for that because it's so intense right now that your emotions are likely running very high. You're probably feeling in limbo in your life. You're probably feeling like you need to figure out a solution to a problem that you think you have. Okay. Because here's what I want to say. As sensitive people, we feel everything. So a lot of times, there's nothing actually wrong with us. All there is energy moving through us. Okay. But because we still have attachments, these energies that are of a much higher frequency, they have to do with your higher purpose, they have to do with the higher version of who you are. These energies can really wobble you out of alignment. They can really throw you off your vibrational stool. Right? You're sitting comfortably and then you feel something, and then you start to freak out. You start to feel destabilized. That's because that energy is threatening something. It is posing a threat to an attachment that you still hold. And by the way, if I don't say thank you for the super chats, just know I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Christine. I see you. You're always there for me. It's just that I'm focusing on the message. So if your emotions happen to be running very high right now, just know that there are miracles being worked out through you. The universe is in the midst of orchestrating something that is beyond magical through and for you, through and for you. But you have to believe that. In fact, we actually have to start moving beyond trust. This is going to be deep. this is just a sidebar. Trust implies, right? When we say trust the process, and that's true, I say that too. It's important. You have to trust the process. You have a universe, a benevolent universe, an angelic universe cradling you. It's aware of where you're headed. It's aware of the complete picture, the complete puzzle. But the reason why we get destabilized is because we're like a piece of the puzzle and we don't understand how the puzzle is going to come together. But the universe already knows that the puzzle is already complete. But because you're stuck in this attachment, because you're stuck in the fear, you don't really understand or you can't wrap your mind around how these pieces of the puzzle are going to come together. But the universe already knows. So we actually have to move beyond trust, and I'll tell you why. Right? Oh, I just need to trust. I just need to trust. I just need to trust. The reason why it is imperative for us to move beyond trust is because trust implies that you're still looking for an outcome. Trust implies that you're still needing a result. So I'm going to trust because what? Because I know that this thing is going to happen for me. So there's still an attachment to an outcome. We actually have to move beyond trust. We have to transcend that version of ourselves that still needs to trust. We have to start knowing that we've always been untouchable, that we've always been unbreakable, that we've always been invincible in the eyes of God of source. Always. You know what my guides have been making me do at night? I've been going on walks, and this has been happening for 3 days. And they've been saying to me, Phil, you need to walk around as if your body can't be grabbed by anyone, as if your body is see-through, it's invisible. So it's visible, but if the cops were to try to throw you in jail, I'm not doing anything corrupt, by the way, but or illegal, but if the cops were to try to throw you in jail or to handcuff you, or if someone was to try to stab you on the street, the knife would go through you. This is the kind of power we want you to know that is coursing through you, that no one can touch you. And I started walking around imagining that, knowing that I am untouchable, knowing that I'm completely free within my body. And the amount of freedom I felt, you guys, was unmatched. The amount of freedom that I felt walking around, not from an egotistical place, looking for trouble. Okay. So we're on the same page. You're not looking for trouble. You're just embodying the freedom that God wants you to have, that the universe wants you to have, the freedom that you are. Imagine right now, just be with me for a second. Imagine right now if you could walk around and you decided, I'm not going to pay taxes anymore, or I'm not going to do anything that doesn't feel right to me anymore. Anything that feels fishy, I'm done. And no one could actually touch you. But think of all the fears we harbor in our body. So we're always walking around like an animal, constantly looking over its shoulder to make sure it's safe. So we're constantly in this survival mode. Now imagine if you wholeheartedly believed that nothing can touch you, that you are this angelic being. And if anything tries to harm you or control you, they wouldn't even be able to grab you. Imagine that what that would do on social media. People who are speaking truth about the corruption, no one would be able to stop them. You know, no one would be able to stop them. They could take a megaphone and go on the street and tell the whole world what's up, and no one would be able to stop them. This is the kind of freedom and fearlessness and unstoppability that we are being called into. So let me get into the rest. Make sure to rest. What That was a good catch right there. You know what I'm saying? That was real good. Hold on. Okay. Make sure to rest the rest of February. Right now there is a intensification of your emotionality. Everything inside of you is ramping up. And because you're a sensitive person, you're going to want to go out there and fix your life. You're going to want to go out there and fix your life. You're going to want to go out there and fix your friendships and relationships that weren't successful. This is what we do when we're sensitive, because I believe in my heart that what makes us so sensitive, I'm very sensitive too. What makes us very sensitive is that we have so much integrity and we have so much love, and we are always wanting people to be on the same page. We don't want problems with people. So whenever we mess things up, we want to fix it. Or whenever someone's ignoring us for no rhyme or reason, we want to fix it. So as sensitive people, we don't feel calm in ourselves when we don't have resolution. I'll give you an example. For me, lately, I've been feeling like this mission is way bigger than me. And that's a very humbling feeling, because I used to think that I had to be the jack of all trades, the Phil of all trades. I used to think that I had to wear every hat. And it's very relieving. And it takes all the pressure out of my tires in a good way to know that I don't have to do it all on my own. So I'm starting to realize that this mission isn't just Phil. This mission is all the other people who are going to be a part of the mission with me. And the other day, I thought to myself, but I'm starting to feel overwhelmed because I know how big it is. And as Phil, I would probably be in the woods as a hermit, as a wizard, just keeping to myself and living a very simple life. And I do my best to live a simple life. But this mission is bigger than me. And it's not going to let me have a quote unquote simple life. But it will. I'm going to have to manage it in the future. I'm going to have to delegate. I'm going to have people that I look out for and people who look out for me, where everyone's doing what they're good at, where everyone is doing whatever it is that their gift is. Some people are going to be good at editing. Some people are going to be good at managing me. Some people are going to be good at working with the money part of it. Some people are going to be good at booking flights and booking. I'm not saying these things are hard, but these are things I do on my own right now. And there's a lot that goes into this mission. So the other day, I felt like there were all these insects crawling all over me, like a lot of stress and I'm not someone who's stressed, but I felt this intense energy, and I have to go through everything. So when people say, "Do you struggle?" Of course I struggle, because again, I have to relay these messages to you guys. So I was in my hot tub, but I felt uncomfortable. And I thought, well, I need to go start looking for these people. And right away, Spirit said, "No, you don't." And Spirit said to me, my guides, my higher self, the universe, it doesn't matter what you call it, said to me, "Phil, you guys is us, our sensitivity is the greatest superpower. It is the greatest superpower, because all it is its energy, universal energy that is vibrating much faster." All right. So I mentioned that earlier in the video. It's energy that's vibrating at a much higher level. And because our bodies have never experienced this before, what we always want to do is shove it in a box. We're like, let me go find a solution. Let me go hire someone. Let me go fix this relationship or with this person that wants nothing to do with me. Right? So we become desperate. We become desperate because we're reaching for a solution. And what they said to me was, every time you go out there in the physical world and you look for a solution, you are now in the shadow reality. All right. I want you to follow me here. Every time you're feeling uncomfortable in your body, or you're feeling like you're in a limbo state, or you're feeling like you have a problem and you need to find a solution for it, and you reach out into the world, you reach out to people, you are still not believing that there's a higher energy, there's a higher force at play that will take care of everything for you if you just hold still. We've been so accustomed and so conditioned and so programmed to go find solutions that the reason why we keep perpetuating our own suffering is because the whole time the universe is like, woohoo, woohoo, your life can be a lot easier. But it will not become a lot easier until you believe that it's meant to be that way, until you believe that it's designed to be easier. Easier doesn't mean you're going to have less responsibilities. As a matter of fact, you're going to have more responsibilities, right? But why wouldn't the universe want to share the love with the people who are going to help you? Why wouldn't the universe want everyone's mission to come alive? So, from that perspective, you're going to have more responsibilities because the universe knows you're going to treat that power responsibly. And you're going to see a friend being like, "Yo, I need a job," and you're like, "Yo, I got you. Come work with me." So the responsibilities, it's going to be different for everyone. But the responsibilities are going to snowball because the universe entrusts you to do the right thing. The universe entrusts you to always operate from a place of integrity. Now, what we do is we go, well, I need to go out and look for a solution because I don't feel peaceful. So, in a way, we're announcing to the universe that we're not worthy of receiving ease, that we're not worthy of receiving effortlessness, that we don't believe that things can just fall on our lap or people can find us in divine time. So, it's really important for us to understand this. Your sensitivity is like an octopus. Okay. Your sensitivity is like an octopus, and it has all these tentacles. And everything you're feeling in your body is the octopus reaching out into the higher domains, into the higher realities, not the physical ones. That's the shadow reality. Okay. It's not reaching out physically, it's reaching out through you into the field of existence. All right. The ever breathing, ever present field of existence that is pulsating with intelligence. And it's going to bring to you everything that you need in perfect time. This is why I'm saying it is imperative that you rest the rest of February, even though it doesn't feel conducive right now. Like you're probably feeling like you have insects crawling all over you, like you're highly uncomfortable, like you're highly stressed, but don't look at the stress as a bad thing. Just see it as it is this octopus reaching out with its tentacles, and it's going to go grab things from the field of existence, and you will attract those things in divine time. Okay. This is something else I want to say to you. We are here to embody sovereignty. We are here to be unwavering when it comes to our connection to God, to source. Okay, we're here to be so solid in who we are that we can hold still and it doesn't have to be difficult. So every time you have a thought, don't allow that thought to rope you in because that thought isn't God. It's not God. That thought is part of the mind. And what we want to do is master the mind. If you're always grabbing or clicking on these thoughts, you're always going to be a slave to your thoughts. You're always going to be a slave to the mind. So we are here to remember that we are free, that we never have to feel obligated to do anything, that we don't have to answer to things we don't want to answer to, that we actually get to pick and choose the realities that we want to play in, It's all a choice. It's all a choice. Everything is a reality, but you have the free will. You have the license to select the realities that are enjoyable to you, that are comfortable, that feel like home. Okay? Telemarketers are a reality. Scammers are a reality. If you receive an email or a phone call from a telemarketer and you decide to click on that thought or you click on that email or you click on whatever, you are going to open yourself up into that reality. But you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. And I think for a lot of us, it can be hard, because when we were young, let me just take a breath for a second. I've been talking very fast. Sorry, I get excited. It's not even excited, it's just there's so much information that needs to stream through me that it just takes over me sometimes, and I have to kind of reestablish a boundary. So, there is a part of us that has a hard time with going, with we have a hard time with, um sorry, not going, not doing, because we've betrayed ourselves so many times, but we didn't mean to do that. We were born into a family that forced us to do things we didn't want to do. Okay. So we were kind of forced to betray our own truth. And every time we betrayed our own truth, we got further disconnected from our truest selves. But I don't know about you. If I had a do over, if I could do it all over again, I would be like a 7-year-old who's like, I'm not doing this. Sorry, non negotiable. And if anyone had a problem with it, I would run away. I wouldn't care. If you went back to your childhood, knowing what you know now, you would do things very differently. But we can do that now. You can take your power back now. You can travel back to the past, to your memories, because the past is an illusion. You can travel back to every memory right now, and rewrite your story. It's not necessary that you do that. It's not necessary, but you can do that to empower yourself. You really can. But I think for a lot of us, we are so sensitive because we came into this world very innocent, very curious, wanting to explore, and in a way, our family made us do things we didn't want to do. The system, schools, all of it, but it all leads back to your family. They made you do things you didn't want to do. So we're still kind of developing that trust. We're still cultivating a deeper relationship with ourselves where we can ask ourselves, am I really safe to go out there? Am I really safe to not do what I don't want to do anymore? Am I really safe to say no to this or no to that? And the truth is, yes, you are safe. You are safe to do what you want to do. You have a right to do what you want to do. Why wouldn't you? There are billions of options available to you. Would the universe ever force you to do one option? Would it ever force you to eat one thing? Would it ever force you to travel to one area? No, because there are billions upon billions of options available to us. And we have to honor our truth now. We do. So I want to remind you that if you are scrambling to find a solution to fix your situation, there is nothing wrong with your situation. There is nothing wrong with where you stand. But because you're so sensitive and you have so much energy moving through you right now, your old self is going to kick into gear and it's going to look for a solution. You have to believe in a higher reality that does everything for you. It's like your manager, it's like your personal assistant, it's all of those roles. So think of all this intense energy as all these different tentacles reaching out that will bring back to you what is highest aligned. And if you keep thinking that you have to go out there, you will always be stuck in that container. You are always going to be stuck in that same old game, in that same old paradigm. Okay, we have to change the game. We have to start opening ourselves up to these higher layers that are here now, that are here now. Just remember and keep repeating my sensitivity is a superpower. And if I go out there, the people that I connect with, they're not going to have the integrity that I have. They're not going to be at the level of consciousness that I'm in. They're not going to be as dedicated to the mission as I am. They're not, because you're dipping into a shadow reality. Okay. There is an immense power coursing through your body, coursing through all day long, organizing things for you. And until you fully believe that it's doing that, you will not be free. We have to switch things up to discover new things. We have to try different approaches to discover what we haven't discovered yet. Is this helping you guys? So, I have another message before we go. I have another message before we go. And it ties into a very similar theme. You need to try to locate, this is what I've been doing. You need to try to locate every attachment you still have right now. So you're in a relationship, you know you're not in love with this person. Why are you holding on? You already know you're not in love. You already know the relationship isn't going to make it. I'm not saying leave. I'm not saying exit that relationship. What I am asking you though is can you be okay with the worst case scenario? Because if you can be okay with the worst case scenario, whether that be losing your job, losing your home, being homeless, losing your relationship, having no one to depend on anymore, always go to the worst case scenario and try to make peace with that. I don't know if a lot of spiritual teachers would recommend this approach or would make this suggestion, but that's how I've done it. I think about the worst thing that can happen and then I make peace with it. And then right then and there, I cut the cord to whatever I was attached to. Here's what I want to say to you: whatever you're attaching onto, whatever you're holding on to, is really just you delaying the inevitable. It's you postponing the blowing up of that thing to a later date. Because again, the universe wants us to know it can be easy. But in order for us to know that it can be easy, we have to switch the game up. We have to alter our perception. We have to not go out and look for a solution. We have to believe that there are these forces in the universe that are going out and grabbing everything for you. They're going to bring them to you. You don't have to move. You don't have to move. You don't have to lift a finger. How can you truly introduce yourself to this new reality if you're not putting in the work? If you're still doing the old methods and the old approaches, you can't. So anything you attach onto is based on fear. That's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of unsafety, which is understandable. That's been my biggest issue in this life is I don't feel safe. I always think that someone's going to come after me or something, you know? I didn't have documents in the United States for a very long time, and I always thought the authorities are going to come after me, you know, or someone's going to stab me on the street or something's going to happen to me because I know how powerful I am. I've always known how powerful my truth is and how much I can trigger people sometimes and how much I can inspire people sometimes. But I've gotten all kinds of threats in the past. So when you have a powerful light, which don't claim it as your own, it's just the light that you're allowing to shine through you, to pierce through you and onto this world. But when there's a lot of light that is backing you and you become a conduit for that light, yeah, you're going to be faced with a lot of uncomfortable feelings. You are. Because the more you brighten your light and the more you shine your light, the more people across the world you're going to trigger. And a lot of people are not going to like that. I mean, Jesus was killed because his truth was so potent that it threatened a lot of people around the world. And some people weren't ready for change. They weren't ready for a revolution in consciousness and for an evolution in consciousness. They weren't ready for that. And I want to remind you that not everyone is well intended. Not everyone is a good person. A lot of people are possessed. They're possessed by their own fear. They're possessed by other entities because they've given their power away so much that they ended up vacating their body. And there might be a tiny percentage of them left in there. I believe the soul never leaves us, but a lot of people are possessed. So not everyone has your back. Some people genuinely want to hurt you. So I've had a big, big, big um, issue around safety my whole life, because I was bold enough to believe that I can have it all. I was bold enough to believe that I can become legal in the United States, and so many other things. But if I lose it all, I will lose it all. And that's fine. I've already made peace with that. So don't take credit for anything, you know, don't take credit for anything and keep shining your light because you are here to make a difference. You are here to make a huge impact on this world and you know it. And there's something else I want to share with you. This is so important. It's time for us to be real about what we want. It's time for us to be truly authentic about what you want. If you can't admit that you want fame and you're a singer and you want to become famous, then you're never going to make it. You have to at least admit that you want fame. If you can't admit that you have a big mission, like it took me a long time to finally see that, of course, ever since I was young, I always wanted to make a huge difference in this world. But the last few years, I've been like the hermit. I just want the world to leave me alone. I don't like the world. I just want to do my own thing. And if I make it to the top, then I'll do it on my own. I don't need anyone. I don't need anyone. I'll make it on my own. That's not possible. It's not possible because the mission is so big that it needs other people involved. So what I did yesterday is I got very real with myself. I remembered when I was young and I used to cry to my mom, "Mom, I want to make such a huge difference in the world." And I was an innocent kid back then. That's not the ego. That's the kid that knows things. You know things as children. We know things as children. So the first thing I had to do yesterday was admit to myself, hell yeah, I want to make a difference. And I don't want to play small. And so get very real about what you want. Don't act like you don't want love if you want love. This is about getting vulnerable. This is about getting real. This is about getting transparent with what you want. If you want love, say, I want love. I've always wanted to just be a mom who stays at home with her children. That's real. If you want to make a lot of money, say it. I want to make a lot of money. I want to know what that's like. Because one of the biggest disfavors you can do to yourself is not admit to that. So the first thing is admit what you want. There's no shame. If you want to be famous, there's no shame. Okay? Just make sure you don't do it from a place of ego because then you won't become famous. You just won't. But it's about getting really clear with what we want. Get very clear about what you want. And then this is the second piece. I didn't know I'd talk so long today, but this is the second piece. Then you don't have to go out and chase it. So I had to admit I have a huge mission. But my other truth is I don't want to go out and look for it. I don't want to go out and look for people. So it can be both. It's about getting real and very authentic about what you want, but also being very truthful with yourself and saying, but I don't want to go chase it. So if it needs to happen, it will find me. If it needs to happen, I trust that the universe is going to make it happen. Okay? Because this mission is bigger than you. So if there's a bigger mission, it's going to happen. It's bound to happen. It's inevitable. So it's about getting very real about what we want, but also not getting lost in the trap of going to chase it. And I think a lot of us, what we do is, I want a podcast. I'll start it today. What if you're not supposed to start it today? What if it's enough to just know that you want the podcast? And when you feel genuinely inspired to start it, when you're clear-minded, and when there's no doubt in you, when there's no resistance in you, when there's no hesitance in you, then that's when you do it. So let's get real about what we want. I want love. I'm telling you guys, I want love. I want love. I do. I want support with my mission as well. It doesn't have to be love. That doesn't have to be my partner. It can be friends. I want support. I can't do this on my own. I can't, you know? I respond to every email right now. I I do everything on my own. So I want support and I want love and I want to have a big life. I do. But I want to have a big life to where I can still feel like a monk. I want to feel like I can still feel like a monk. That's what I want. What do you want? It's time for us to get real. Very real with ourselves. Knowing that you never have to do anything you don't want to do. I can talk to you guys the rest of my life. That's what I'm good at. I want to do this the rest of my life. There are other things I don't want to do. I don't really want to deal with like money and like I don't care about. I want people to handle that shit for me. That's it. And I'm not good at all that stuff. You know? I'm just being honest. That's not my strength. And I don't think God wants me to have all the gifts. I think I'm supposed to have my gift and you're supposed to have your gift. So that's it. If you want to support my work, I really appreciate it, but I don't expect it. My link is feelgoodlife.com/donate. Feelgoodlife.com/donate. I love you guys so much, and I will speak to you guys very soon. Take care. Bye bye.